Hey guys, Probable1701 here, and today we're going to be ranking Series 2 of Doctor Who. We will be looking at the modern series, so this will be David Tennant, the 10th Doctor's first season as the Doctor, and his weakest, I would argue. And I think most people would agree. Seasons 3 and 4 and the specials are all really strong. Season 3 doesn't really have any bad episodes. Season 4 only has a couple toward the end of the season. And there's really only one of the specials I don't care for. Season 2 is his only real weak point to me. Now, including the Christmas special, the Christmas Invasion, his season is made up of 14 episodes. And that's interesting because I think 7 of them are good and 7 of them are bad. There's not really any just middle ground episodes in here except maybe one. So it's kind of like the exact opposite of Series 11, which I don't think there's necessarily a lot of... Sorry, my sinuses are acting up. It's cold outside. Series 11, most episodes are just kind of mediocre, with some being semi-decent, and a couple of standouts like Kerblam and Demons are both being alright. But Series 2 is kind of the opposite of that, where they're either bad or they're good for the most part. So we're going to go ahead and start with that. And the bottom 7 I think are bad. The top 7 I think are good. In bottom place at 14 is Fear Her. This episode sucks. It's bad. It has that one little part when the 10th Doctor mentions, oh, I was a father once. And Rose is like, what? And he kind of breezes over it. I like that little scene right there, that itty bitty little bit right there, but the rest of the story sucks. Just bad acting, bad child acting, bad. 13 on the list is Love and Monsters. You knew this one would be toward the bottom. This episode also sucks. The only good thing about it to me is that it has ELO in it. I love the Electric Light Orchestra. I have their 2 CD greatest hits. I have the Xanadu soundtrack. I love their music. But besides ELO, this episode sucks. Number 12 is The Idiot's Lantern. Man, this is a forgettable episode. I don't even remember everything that really happens in this episode. I remember Rose losing her face. I remember the woman in the TV, and she's behind it all, and it's somehow with energy and electricity. I don't actually remember most of what happens. I think I've only watched this one like twice. It's very forgettable. Very bleh. I don't really care for it. Next on the list is the Christmas Invasion. The last 15 minutes of this episode or so is good. The rest of it, not so good, with maybe 1 or 2 little points in it that are decent. Pretty much everything from when Tennant wakes up is good. But everything before that, for the most part, is bad. And it's a perfect example of how not to do a post-regeneration story. There's a reason why when people are ranking post-regeneration stories, this one usually isn't very high. We want to see a new Doctor. We don't want to see him spending much time laying down. Like Spearhead from Space has the Doctor laying down, but not for long. He's up pretty quickly. And that story is much better regarded. Next on the list is The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit. And I know a lot of people like this one. I don't. I think this would have worked better as just a single episode. I think stretching it into 2 episodes was exactly that, stretching it. I don't really care for it. It has some good things in it. I love the fact they got Gabriel Wolfe back to voice the Beast in it. He, of course, voiced Sutekh in the classic Tom Baker story, Pyramids of Mars, which is a classic. And he is really good at doing the creepy kind of voice like he does. I love when they bring classic Who actors back to do stuff in the modern series. I like the scene when the guy gets possessed, when the little inscriptions disappear off the thing he's holding and appear on his hand. When he sees it on his hand and his reaction to that, that's really nice. I love when the Doctor's hanging above the abyss and he runs out of rope and he can't see anything below him, and he's like, oh, it could just be 20 feet. I love that whole little bit. That's nice because that's very fitting with the Doctor. He's very inquisitive, very curious, and he takes those kind of chances. So I think that's a very nice Doctor moment for him. And I love Rose saving the day at the end by ejecting him out of the seat, by taking off his seatbelt. That's really nice. I don't like Tennant's speech at the end about, I believe in her. It just falls flat. It's nothing on Tennant, but the speech itself just falls flat and doesn't work for me. I just think this would have worked better as a single episode. So that's pretty much got what the ones I think are bad out of the way. Although I will admit that last one is maybe the one just kind of middle ground mediocre story in the season. Now we're moving into the ones I like, which is the top 7. At number 7, we have Tooth and Claw. This one's a lot of fun. I like it. The CGI on the werewolf looks a little dated, but that's fine. I can look past that. I love when Tennant first sees the werewolf, and he's just like, "Oh, you're beautiful," and Rose is like, "No, we need to go." Has to pull him away. That's a very, very 10th Doctor moment. It's very fitting for the Doctor in general, but definitely the 10th Doctor there. I love that. I love learning that Queen Victoria's husband had helped prepare for this werewolf thing. They have the one room the werewolf can't get in until it finds the way in through the skylight. The little contraption set up at the end to trap it, I really like. I also love the fact here that, once again, they cast a classic Doctor Who veteran actress I can't remember her name. The actress who plays Queen Victoria in it also played in The Faceless Ones with the second Doctor, so I love when they do stuff like that. But I enjoyed this one. It's a lot of fun. I think it's nice to see Tennant get to use his Scottish accent actually for a little bit in it. And I love the fact that this is the episode that sets up Torchwood. So it's actually the 10th Doctor's interfering here, which he saves the day, don't get me wrong. It's a good thing he interferes, but this is what leads to Torchwood's creation, which later is what leads to the Cybermen being able to get in, the Daleks being able to get in, and ultimately what causes him and Rose to be separated. So it's nice to see that there are consequences to his actions. Even though he has good intentions, and he does the right thing here, it really plays into that, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And so even though he's doing the right thing, there are consequences to his actions later, and that's what leads to him and Rose being separated. And I really like seeing that in this story. Next on the list is Doomsday and Army of Ghosts. That's numbers 5 and 6. I like this one. I think the Cybermen get a nice, respectable amount to do in the beginning. In part 1, they get to kind of kick butt. But then when the Daleks show up, they just spank them, and I love that. The Dalek reveal at the end of this one was very unexpected, caught me off guard. I was really wowed by it. They did a really good job building that up. I really love the smack talk between the Daleks and the Cybermen here. You could conquer the Earth with 4 Daleks. We could conquer the Earth with 1 Dalek. You are only better at one thing. You are better at dying. I love that. That is great. To this day, I love Dalek Sec. I just love the fact, and he's not even trying to sound like a badass. He's just stating the facts as he sees them. I love that. That's... The scene where him and Rose get separated, I like when they first get separated and they're leaning on the walls, and it shows her basically what looks like on one side of the wall and him on the other, and them being separated by the wall, even though the wall's representative of them being in different dimensions. That's really nice. I love the piece of music there. Very beautiful. What I don't like is when he visits her later as the hologram. That wasn't necessary. I get why they did it, but as someone who's grew up on Classic Who, you didn't need that scene. It didn't need to be there. I think the other scene with them touching the wall conveyed everything you needed to convey. It should have just cut straight from that to the runaway bride, maybe him in the TARDIS with tears in his eyes. Donna showing up. You didn't need that other scene. It just seems a little much. It kind of pulls the episode down a bit for me. Next on the list is The Rise of Cyberman Age of Steel 2-parter at 3 and 4. This weather's terrible. This, to me, The Rise of Steel or Age of Steel, Rise of Cybermen 2-parter, is easily the best Cyberman story in the modern series. And probably the only time the Cybermen have really been done justice, except maybe in Series 12 in The Haunting of Villa, whatever it's called. I really like the Lone Cyberman in that one. But just the regular Cybermen and Army of Cybermen, they're done really good here. I like this parallel evolution of them. It's nice to see a different universe's origin story, and the fact they actually originate on Earth, because it's one guy's attempt to kind of gain immortality. And the guy playing Loomis is really good here. I forget his name. I know he's passed away. He's really, really good in this role. He does a really good job. Because you can kind of understand why he's doing what he's doing, and he thinks he's making people better. I really enjoyed this one. Not often, I think, the Cybermen get done justice in the modern series. They kind of just play second fiddle to somebody else a lot, be it the Daleks or the Master. Uh, but they're really done justice here. It's really nice. And I like that their design is so different from the classic design since they're from a parallel universe. I kind of disliked the fact that we started seeing that design show up more in our universe, as it looked like our universe started incorporating that design. I didn't care for that one as much. I like the idea of that universe's Cybermen having one design and the Doctor's universe having a different design, just to kind of help differentiate them. And then number 2 on the list is School Reunion. It's really hard to pick 1 and 2. They're both really good. School Reunion is really, really good. I love Sarah Jane Smith. She's my favorite companion. She was number 1 on my top 10 companion list. There is a reason why she's been really the only classic series companion to really come back. Is because she's just so good. Her and the third Doctor were so good together. Her and the fourth Doctor were magic together. And watching her with Tennant is so nice. Her and Tennant click so well. They have such good chemistry that it's hard to believe that that it's not just the same 2 actors reconnecting after years. That Tennant, this is Tennant's first time really meeting her, but you get that bond between. Even if you've never seen the classic series, you can pick up on this bond between them that they had, and that sense of loss that they have been separated for so long. It's really touching. There's some beautiful scenes here between them when they first meet. When she finds the TARDIS and they first meet, the scene when they're talking, when he's working on K9. You could have come back. I couldn't. There's so many magical moments. Rose kind of seeing that she's not the first close friend he's had like this, that there have been people in the past he's been this close to, and that there are consequences of that. And of course, seeing K9 back. I love K9. And so seeing K9 back is really, really nice. Having John voice him again is nice. That I was sad like everybody else when K9 sacrificed himself at the end. You good dog. Affirmative. And then when he's talking to the headmaster, you bad doggy. Affirmative. I love that. And then just seeing Anthony as the headmaster is really nice. I never really watched Buffy, but I did watch Merlin. I've seen him as Uther in that, and he does a really good job as the headmaster in this. Plus, Tennant has some really nice dark moments in here, like when he tells him, if I don't like it, it will stop. And that line he does about, I'm so old now, I've used up so much mercy. He really does have some don't screw with me, I'm the Doctor moments where Tennant does that too sometimes, when you can just look at him and know that this is not a guy you want to screw with. And there's a couple good examples of that in this episode. And number 1 on the list is The Girl in the Fireplace. I love this story. It's another Moffat story. Every story Moffat does in Russell's era is perfect. I mean, just beautiful. I love the story. The actress playing Madame de Pompadour is so good. Her and Tennant have such good chemistry together. I really like the fact that her and the 10th Doctor just click so well right off, that they get so close so quickly. I really, really like that. There was a bit of a plot hole as to at the end why the Doctor doesn't just take the TARDIS back. That whole explanation of we can't do it, we're caught up in events now, seems a little silly. But I mean, that's not the first time that's happened. Even the Seeds of Doom had that little plot hole of why didn't the Doctor